Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. August 29th, Fred Luter. Fred Luter was a young man when he crashed his motorcycle and met the Lord Jesus. He called the crash his road to Damascus moment. He went on to become a powerful Christian pastor, and he enjoyed success until, on this day in 2005, Hurricane Katrina flooded the church and forced the congregation to disperse across the nation. 7 years later, Fred Luter became the first African American to be elected as the president of the Southern Baptist Convention. Even if we lose everything, God is with us. Fred Luter sat quietly in his daughter's Birmingham apartment as he sipped an iced tea and stared angrily at the television newscast. Days after Hurricane Katrina slammed the Gulf Coast, the city he loved, his hometown, New Orleans, was underwater. Begging to be saved, frightened residents stood on rooftops. Others gathered at the convention center searching for food. Hundreds were dead. Hundreds more were missing. A string of thoughts swirled through Luter's head. The city shouldn't have flooded. People shouldn't have been stranded. It shouldn't be this way. Not in 2005. Not in the most powerful nation on the planet. Not in the United States. Days earlier, Luter and his wife had evacuated from New Orleans to Birmingham, assuming their stay would be short. But at this point, New Orleans was uninhabitable. They couldn't go back. Their house was flooded, their neighborhood too, and their beloved church, Franklin Avenue Baptist, which he had built from 65 members in 1986 to more than 7,000 2 decades later. Well, the building had taken on 10 feet of water. New Orleans had survived the hurricane's winds only to succumb to floodwaters when the levees broke. Luter was mad at the mayor, the governor, and the president. He was even mad at God. I looked up to heaven and I said, God, why don't you do something? God, this is America. God, this is not right. People need water. People need food. For the first time in my life, my faith was literally shaken like it had never been shaken before. There were other problems. Most church members fleeing the destruction and perhaps looking for a fresh start were spread across the South. Luter had lost his church building and he had lost his congregation. But God provided hope. Pastors throughout the nation phoned and pledged their help in rebuilding. First Baptist, a sister New Orleans church that had escaped damage, invited the 1,000 remaining members of Luter's church to hold services there. Luter reconnected with church members in other cities, in Baton Rouge and Birmingham and Houston, and he began holding church services in those cities too. He became a circuit preacher, traveling thousands of miles each month in his Jeep Cherokee to minister to his flock. They hugged and cried and laughed. It was like a family reunion, and Luter was encouraged. But God wasn't finished. 2.5 years after Katrina, Franklin Avenue's building reopened with 4,000 joy-filled members and residents in attendance. The dirty water and smelly sludge was gone, replaced with brand new carpet and tiles. When adversity strikes, it's helpful to remember the word of the Lord to the prophet Isaiah. He said, I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Isaiah 41:13. Are you in a storm? Are you confused by life's trials? Have you lost everything? If so, remember you are not alone. Years after Katrina, Luter would say, I don't care what you're going through. He's walking with you. He's there all the time. Even if we lose everything, God is with us. Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.